Has the global fashion world just unknowingly admitted that Jungkook is no longer just an ordinary K-pop idol, but a cultural force so powerful that even Calvin Klein executives are speaking about him in a tone they have never shown toward any other ambassador before? And if that is true, why were just a few sentences from David Savman suddenly enough to make millions of ARMY around the world excited, panicked, emotional, and at the same time convinced that something far bigger is quietly being prepared for Jungkook's new era with Calvin Klein? That question suddenly flooded social media after the latest statement from David Savman, global brand president of Calvin Klein, began spreading widely through various fan accounts, including at Daily Praise, which shared excerpts from Savman's interview via WWD. At first, many people assumed this was simply another standard promotional statement commonly used by global fashion brands for their celebrity ambassadors. However, the more people read the full statement, the more it felt like there was something different about it, something far more personal, deeper, and bigger than an ordinary business relationship between a brand and a celebrity. David Savman openly stated that Jungkook has been a global ambassador for Calvin Klein for years, and that they have witnessed firsthand how Jungkook's relationship with global audiences carries extraordinary power. On the surface, the sentence sounded simple, but for the fashion community and the BTS fandom, especially ARMY, the statement was immediately seen as a major acknowledgement of Jungkook's current status in the global industry. Savman was not merely talking about popularity, but also cultural impact, authenticity, and Jungkook's highly engaged fanbase. Those three phrases instantly became massive discussion topics online because they were viewed as an official recognition that Jungkook is now not just a promotional face, but a modern cultural symbol with real influence over global consumer behavior. In the middle of a fashion industry that is extremely careful with word choices, the use of terms like cultural impact and authenticity carries very serious meaning. Many branding analysts believe Calvin Klein is positioning Jungkook not simply as a campaign model, but as the representation of a new identity for the brand aimed at the next global generation. This became even more evident when Savman mentioned that Jungkook's collaboration with Calvin Klein feels fresh, personal, culturally relevant, while still remaining faithful to Calvin Klein's own DNA. That statement triggered an explosive reaction across social media. Many ARMY felt that this was one of the most important moments in Jungkook's journey as a global icon. Some even said the way Calvin Klein talks about Jungkook sounds more like they are describing a creative partner rather than an ordinary ambassador. Speculation immediately began spreading. Could CKJK 2026 become Jungkook's biggest project yet with Calvin Klein? Does Jungkook now have deeper creative involvement in the direction of the collection? And the question discussed most intensely, is Calvin Klein secretly building a new era for the brand with Jungkook at the center of it? The excitement intensified even further when teasers for the CKJK 2026 collection started appearing throughout fan communities. Although the official details have not been fully released yet, public anticipation has already exploded. Social media became flooded with visual analyses, concept theories, and predictions about how the collection could dominate global fashion trends once it is finally released. Some fans even said that simply from seeing the brief teasers alone, the aura of the project already feels completely different from previous collaborations. In reality, this phenomenon did not appear out of nowhere. Ever since Jungkook was first announced as a Calvin Klein ambassador several years ago, the impact was immediately felt worldwide. Jungkook's first campaign with the brand successfully created a massive engagement explosion online. The campaign photos went viral across social media platforms within hours. Products worn by Jungkook reportedly sold out extremely quickly in multiple countries. Calvin Klein once again dominated conversations among the global younger generation, especially within Gen Z and international K-pop communities. However, what makes Jungkook different is not merely sales numbers or trending topics. Many observers believe Jungkook's appeal comes from a combination that is incredibly rare among modern public figures. He possesses the image of a global superstar, yet still feels authentic to his fans. In a digital era filled with manufactured images and excessive branding, Jungkook is instead perceived as natural, genuine, and never forced. This is exactly what David Savman and Calvin Klein appear to fully understand. Savman even emphasized that the greatest strength of this collaboration lies in how Jungkook's influence blends with Calvin Klein's classic identity to create something that feels personal and culturally relevant. The statement was considered extremely important because it showed that Calvin Klein is not merely taking advantage of Jungkook's popularity, but truly understands the cultural position held by BTS's youngest member. On the other hand, ARMY views this acknowledgement as major validation of Jungkook's global influence, which some people had long underestimated. For years, the influence of K-pop idols within the global fashion industry has continued growing, yet there has still been an assumption that they are only being used as temporary marketing tools. Jungkook seems to have shattered that stereotype. He does not simply bring traffic or engagement, but creates genuine emotional connections between a brand and global audiences. Many social media users began comparing Jungkook's effect on Calvin Klein to the historical impact once carried by major cultural icons in the fashion world. Some even stated that Jungkook has successfully changed the global perception of how a K-pop idol can become the center of an international branding strategy. This is becoming increasingly visible through the way international fashion media covers his collaborations. Jungkook is no longer positioned merely as a celebrity endorsement, but as a cultural force capable of connecting music, fashion, internet culture, and the global younger generation into one powerful visual identity. Interestingly, David Savman's statement also touched on how this collaboration has introduced Calvin Klein to new audiences worldwide through Jungkook. That sentence made many people realize that Jungkook's influence extends far beyond BTS fandom alone. Calvin Klein appears to view Jungkook as a bridge toward a new generation of consumers who may previously have had little connection to the classic American fashion brand. This phenomenon reflects a major shift in the strategy of the modern fashion industry. In the past, major brands relied mostly on supermodels or Hollywood actors, but now figures like Jungkook hold far greater power because they bring highly active and loyal global communities with them. ARMY is not just an ordinary fandom. They are a massive digital community with the ability to create viral moments, engagement, and extremely high brand loyalty. When David Savman explicitly mentioned Jungkook's highly engaged fanbase, many people felt that Calvin Klein was actually acknowledging the economic and cultural power of ARMY openly. Many have called CKJK 2026 one of the biggest fashion projects expected next year. Public expectations are already incredibly high even before the official details have been announced. Several fan accounts have started creating theories about the possibility of a more personal collection concept inspired by Jungkook's lifestyle, including his interest in motorcycles, streetwear, and the modern minimalist aesthetic that has long been associated with him. Speculation became even wilder when the public remembered how Savman mentioned that through Jungkook's perspective, Calvin Klein is able to express a more personal side of their partnership. That statement was interpreted as a hint that Jungkook may now have greater creative contributions than before. If true, then CKJK 2026 would not simply be another campaign, but a new step for Jungkook as a global creative figure beyond music. The internet continues to overflow with emotional reactions from fans. Many ARMY admitted they feel proud seeing Jungkook now being treated as a true global icon by one of the world's biggest fashion brands. Some even said Jungkook's journey feels like watching the evolution of modern pop culture in real time. From a young trainee in South Korea to becoming a figure acknowledged by top executives of an international brand as a global cultural force, Jungkook's transformation is considered extraordinary even by the standards of the modern entertainment industry. Behind all the hype and euphoria, one thing seems increasingly clear. Calvin Klein is not simply keeping Jungkook because of temporary popularity. David Savman's statement shows that the brand sees something far more valuable in Jungkook, the ability to create emotional cross-cultural connections in an extremely competitive digital era. Now the public is waiting for just one thing: when Calvin Klein will finally reveal the full details of CKJK 2026 officially. But even before that day arrives, one fact can no longer be denied.